You can commence with the class.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Duduzile Kupega, your mathematical literacy teacher. Okay, in this lesson, you will work with different tariff systems. You'll learn how to calculate costs using given tariffs. You'll learn how to draw and interpret graphs of various tariff systems. A tariffs, you'll see them mainly when you deal with accounts and houses, but there are a lot of examples. With a tariff is a list or schedule of predetermined prices for services like trains, buses, and electrical usage. So a common example would be maybe what should be familiar with people. Different people are familiar with different concepts. Others would be more familiar with the how train service, where they know there's also a monthly rate where you pay a different tariff or a different rate if you choose to pay monthly as opposed to when you pay weekly. Then there are services like for electricity. When you use electricity in your house, there are certain costs that are standard that you need to pay for electricity or for water. A tariff usually includes a unit of payment with a unit of measurement. For example, we did a lot of these examples last week. Cell phone bills are charged in cents or rands per minute. In this example here, the unit of payment is the rands or the cent, and then the unit of measurement is in minutes. So cell phone bills are charged per minute, sometimes per second. It depends on the cell phone bill or the service provider. Electricity is charged in cents per kilowatt or kilowatt per hour, those examples. And then telecom charges monthly landline rentals in rands per month. Again, the unit of payment here is the rand, and the unit of measurement is month in this case. For electricity, the unit of payment would be the cents or the rands, and then the unit of measurement would be kilowatts per hour, those examples. Now, if you were attending last week's classes, you would remember that we dealt with such examples where you use rands per minute or kilowatts per hour or rands per month. And that was an example of rates. You remember that we did rates and how to calculate rates. This week's one is a little different from the one we did last week, but we'll get into it just now. Municipal tariffs indicated in front of you. Okay, municipal tariffs include tariffs for electricity, water, and refuse removal. They differ from one city to the next, but generally speaking, the more electricity or water you use in a month, the more expensive it is per unit. I think that would make sense. The more you use something, the more costly it becomes. That's why you are encouraged to save water or save electricity. You're not only just saving money when you do that, but you're saving also the power that is used. Ne? Sometimes municipal tariffs are also called rates. Your municipal bill also usually includes a monthly property rate based on the municipal value of your house. So depending on where you stay, you'd find that the houses range in prices, of course, depending on where it's located. That's the same way the tariffs or the municipal tariffs range as well. They have different prices according to where you stay or according to the location. Then next slide. This is an example. We'll deal with an example. They usually ask these types of questions. Again, I got this from a study guide. It's Mindset Learn Study Guide. I'll share more information about it, but you can get a lot of questions that will prepare you for the exams. So first example is the city of Devon's eThekwini municipality charges the following tariffs for domestic water usage in 2013 for properties valued at more than 250,000 rands. Remember, we mentioned that the tariffs differ according to the value of your house, and the value of your house differs depending on where it is located. A house in Soweto wouldn't cost the same as a house in Sandton. That's an example. Megan's monthly water consumption is 12 kiloliters. Calculate her monthly water costs excluding that. So we will look at we'll focus on the categories here. On the one side here, we have the two here, this side. On the one side, it indicates to us the kiloliters. And then on the other side, it indicates to us the prices per kiloliter. So we need to work out the total cost, the total monthly cost that she will pay if she is using 12 kiloliters of water. The water consumption is 12 kiloliters. So we now need to calculate her monthly water costs. To calculate Megan's total water costs, we break up her usage into the different tariff categories. Again, we go back to these two columns here. We have one, which is showing you the kiloliters of water, and on the other side, it's the price. So to break up, we are told she has consumed 12 kiloliters. We need to work out the 12 kiloliters and the price. So firstly, we break up those into the different categories. First category is the very top one. You will always start, whenever you're working with tariffs, you will always start at the 0 to whatever maximum value is put there. But this is where you'll always start. You don't start anywhere else. Always start with the very first one there, which is the 0 to 9 kiloliters in this case. So 0 to 9 kiloliters, that's what, in that category, how much has she used? She has used the whole 9 kiloliters of water in this category. In the second category, in the 9 kiloliters to 25 kiloliters category, this category, the second one here, 9 kiloliters to 25 kiloliters category, she has used 3 kiloliters of water. How did we work out that 3 kiloliters of water? We know that she has used a total of 12 kiloliters. And in the first column, in the first category, she has already used 9. So 12 minus 9, you would get 3 kiloliters. So that's a total. In this category, she has only used 3 kiloliters of water. From there, we will calculate how much the number of kiloliters used in each category cost. How do we do this? 9 kiloliters for the first category multiplied by the 9 rand 50 there indicated to be the cost for the first category, 9 rand 50. I was kicked out, but I'm back. I'm so sorry about that. Continuing, 3 kiloliters multiplied by the 11 rands 22, you get your total. Then next, we add these two subtotals together. It's the 85 rands 50 plus 33 rand 66 cents, it's equals to 119 rand 16 cents. So her water usage for the month will cost 119 rand 16 cents excluding VAT. Why am I being specific by saying excluding VAT? Firstly, the question stated that they want us to write the cost excluding VAT. And then secondly, because that's there, it's written there, it's excluding VAT. So there are no extra calculations we did. We just got the total from our main simple calculations and then we leave it there because that's where they want us to leave the answer. I hope everyone is still okay. I can move on now. Please stop me if you want to ask. You can raise your hand or you can type in the chat box and I'll respond to your questions. Second question is, it's still based on that same tariff, ne? Gilbert's monthly, let me move this. Gilbert's monthly water consumption is 32 kiloliters. Calculate what his monthly bill will be, including VAT. So with Gilbert this time, Gilbert is using 32 kiloliters of water. 32 kiloliters of water, we now need to work out exactly how much in total did he spend in costs. Yeah, that's a 32. So to calculate Gilbert's total water bill, we break up the 32 kiloliters up into the different tariff categories. The same steps we did, we are repeating again. In this first category, that's the first category we always work, we start with this first category, 0 to 9. So we work our way up. We start from 0 and end up to where the total is given to us. In this case, the total is 32. So that means we will end somewhere in this category because that's where 32 kiloliters falls. But let's move step by step. 0 to 9 kiloliters, he has used the whole 9 kiloliters of water in that category. In the second category, which is the 9 kiloliters to 25 kiloliters, he has used the whole 25 kilo. He didn't use the 25. Let's work that out. That's a common mistake people make. In this category, how much did he use? So another way of calculating this is like calculating the range. So in this category, it's 9 to 25. So another way of finding the answer here is to say 25 minus 9, you would get 16. Or you just add the 9 plus the 16 I just told you about, and you'd get the 25 kiloliters, right? That's the maximum there. So another way, like I just mentioned, just say 25 minus 9 kiloliters. Then you will get your answer for that maximum value or the maximum amount of water he used in that category. It's going to be 16 kiloliters of water. In the third category, which is the 25 to 30 kiloliters, he has used 5 kiloliters of water, because if you were to say 30 minus 25, you've got 5 kiloliters of water in there. Or with this 25, if you add the 5, you get 30. So at the end of it all, we know he has used 5 kiloliters of water in this category. And in the final category, he used what? 30 to 45 kiloliters. He has used 2 kiloliters of water. So what values do we have right now? We have the 9 kiloliters of water, we have 16 kiloliters of water, we have 5 kiloliters, and we have 2 kiloliters. All of these kiloliters come from the different categories, and that's where our next step is coming from, where we need to now work out the cost per category. So 9 kiloliters multiplied by the 9 rand 50, which belongs in that category. Get your answer. 16 kiloliters multiplied by 11 rands 22 cents, you get your answer. 5 kiloliters multiplied by 14 rands 95, you get your answer. 2 kiloliters multiplied by 23 rands 5 cents, we get our answer. So we've got the costs for each category now. Then we add all these subtotals to get the total excluding VAT. Right now, the values here are excluding VAT. So the answer we have right now is excluding VAT. So we've got 85 rands 50, and all these other amounts is equal to 385 39.87 cents. All of these prices, this cost is excluding VAT. In our question, they expressly stated that we must give our answer inclusive of VAT. So to get our answer, we need to calculate, to get our answer which is inclusive of VAT, we need to calculate what the 14% VAT on the above total is and add it to the total to get the final amount. How do we do this? The total we had received was, we had calculated, is 385 rand 87 cents. So we need to get 14% of that. 14% of that total is, we calculated as 385.87 multiplied by 14 over 100 is equals to 54 rands 0218. Why did I leave this here? As I've always mentioned, we should always round off at the very final stage. So you get your answer, you add that answer, you add the 14% to the value of the total, because 14%, the value which is inclusive of that, would be your total value plus the 14%. So it's your total value plus the 14% we just calculated. And then you get your final answer, which is VAT inclusive. We round off, so Gilbert's total water cost will be 439.89 cents. We only round off at the last step to make the calculation more accurate. That is the reason I left the rounding off to the very final stage. Can you please allow Nyati to speak? She's raising her hand. Nyati is raising her hand.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
For including VAT, do we use 114 over 100 times 385.87?
No, sir. In this case, we use the total, which is the 385.87, multiplied by 14 over 100. Why am I using the 14 over 100? Because we first need to find out what 14% of the total is. So 14%, to find 14% of this total, we multiply the total by 14 over 100. And then after getting that answer, we have received now, we have worked out our 14%. Then you add the 14% to the total to get the value which is VAT inclusive. So at this point right now, the 385.87 is VAT exclusive. And then the 439.89 is VAT inclusive, because we have now added the 14% of the total. Is it making sense, Nyati, and everyone else? Did you understand that? You're allowed to type in the, Will Nyati wants to speak again. Please allow him to speak.
I can understand, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Will. Okay, I wanted to make another point before moving forward. We all know VAT is now 15%, right? So it will depend on your question paper. In most textbooks and question papers, that still indicate a value of 14%. So here they were expressly saying that we need to calculate 14% VAT. If they were not, I think from now on, they really would be very specific. If they are not specific, then we work with the 14 unless they tell you otherwise. But at times, as you know, you would get 15% VAT. That is still correct, because as of April 2018, we have increased the VAT to 15% instead of the 14%. And then third question, calculate what Gilbert will pay on average per kiloliters of water. We have worked out in the previous question that Gilbert pays 439.89 cents of water. This value is, I don't know what I'm doing. This value is VAT inclusive, this 439. It is VAT inclusive. This year, we have just calculated it. So this is the amount Gilbert pays per month for 32 kiloliters of water. So we need to calculate how much on average he pays per kiloliter of water. Now this is similar to the calculations we were doing last week of rate. So in this case, rate is what? The rate is 439 rands 89 cents per 32 kiloliters. We need to find how much he pays in unit prices now. So the rate would be what? You will divide the 439.89 divided by 32 kiloliters, because they expressly said how I worked out we are looking for rate. They said on average per kiloliters of water, how much he will pay per kiloliters of water. So that means it's the rands per kiloliters. That's why it is 439 rands 89 cents divided by 32 kiloliters. You divide those two and your final answer would be he would pay 13 rands 79 cents per kiloliter. That's what he is paying. Are you okay? Can I move on from this? If you want me to stop, you can stop me now. I'll move on. Is someone trying to speak? Okay, I'm trying to answer the questions people ask. Please explain the previous steps of calculations with water usage. Okay, which previous slide are you talking about? I see everyone wants me to move to the previous slide. Which one? The one I was doing the calculations step by step. Is it this slide you want me to go back to? Someone please quickly answer. Okay, this step, all right, let me. And then someone also asked if you get marks from moving step by step. I think what's important here is you need to look at your mark allocation. Ne? Your mark allocation would guide you. But for now, the most important thing, I always advise, honestly, this is what I advise. If you move step by step, you are able to track your movements. You are able to understand what you are doing because you are moving step by step and you're not overwhelmed by this one big answer. It's also easy to track if you've made a mistake and you quickly correct it. But in this case, in particular, these calculations, we need to move step by step because we are calculating category by category. Since we've got the 0 to 9 kiloliters category, you need to do that on its own. And then you need to do the next category on its own. So for this one, yes, I really would advise step by step. But let your mark allocation guide you. But step by step, you really have nothing to lose. Instead, you have a chance of gaining more marks instead of rushing to just quickly wrapping up the answer and you're not sure. Let's say it's for 5 marks and then you're losing the rest of the 4 marks because you didn't show the steps, you see? So please use step by step. That I really advise that. Ne? And then let me explain the step by step. Let me remove now all these markings that I did. And then I'm going to start afresh explaining this calculation. Gilbert's monthly water consumption is 32 kiloliters. We are calculating what his monthly water bill will be, including VAT. Now, what's important to note here before I continue, the prices we are given here per kiloliter are excluding VAT. That is the first thing to note. The prices here we are given are excluding VAT. But that will focus on the last step. Now, what are we doing? We are going to break down this in different categories. You've got 0 to 9 kiloliters. That is the first category. If Gilbert has spent 32 kiloliters of water, that means he has spent up to which category? Let this guide, the table will guide us here. He has spent water up until this category because 32 kiloliters of water falls in this category. This is where you would find 32 kiloliters of water. In that very last category, the second last category, this is where 32 kiloliters would be. As you can see, right? Because it's from 30 kiloliters to 45 kiloliters. You've worked out that that is where you would end. Now, to calculate, we break this 32 kiloliters up into the different tariff categories. In the 0 to 9 kiloliters categories, the very first category, he used what? He has used 9 kiloliters of water. In the first category, he has used 9 kiloliters of water. That's the first category. In the second category, which is the 9 to 25 kiloliters of water, he has used how much? He has used 16. You can say 25 minus 9, you would get 16. Or you do your calculations. 9 plus 16 would get you to the maximum here, which is 25 kiloliters. So in the second category, he has used 16 kiloliters of water. In the third category, which is the 25 to 30 kiloliters, he has used 5 kiloliters of water. This is the third category. You can say 25 plus 5, you get 30, or you'd say 30 minus 25, you'd work out that he only uses 5 kiloliters of water. It's only possible to use 5 kiloliters of water in the third category. Same way, it's only possible to use a maximum of 16 kiloliters of water in the second category. And then, fourthly, in the fourth category, which is the 30 to 45 kiloliters, he has used 2 kiloliters of water. What determines that? Here we are told he has used a total of 32. So here, 30 plus 2 would get you the 32 kiloliters of water. That's why we say the fourth category, he has used 2 kiloliters of water. Now, we will calculate how much the number of kiloliters used in each category cost, which is now first step 9 kiloliters multiplied by the 9.50 Rand, which is indicated on the side in the very same row. 9 kiloliters multiplied by 9.50 Rand. Second category, it's the 16 kiloliters we just worked out multiplied by 11.22 Rand. Third category is the 5 kiloliters of water multiplied by 14.95 Rand. And then the third category is the 2 kiloliters multiplied by 23.05 Rand. Then the last step from there, you add all of these subtotals together and you get your total answer. So we add all of these calculations together and then we get 385 rands 87 cents. There we have our answer that will cost him. But this answer here is excluding VAT. And in our question, they expressly said including VAT. So that is why I will move on to the next slide where we are asked to calculate 14% VAT on the above total. So what is that? It's going to be the 14% of 385 rands 87 cents. Then that's the 385 rand 87 multiplied by 14 over 100. You get your answer. This value here, the 54 rands, is not your final answer. The 54 rands is the 14%. The question says we need to calculate the amount which is VAT inclusive. So we then take our total, which is VAT exclusive, plus the 14%, then we get our 439 rands 89 cents, which is VAT inclusive. So Gilbert's total water costs will be 439 rands 89 cents. Remember, again, we will only round off at the last step to make the calculation more accurate. I hope everyone is okay now. Can I move on? I see Bongi commented there. Yes, Bongi, that is correct. We can also do the calculation like that. Then I'm moving to the next slide. Again, you're welcome to stop me. You are always welcome to stop me if I'm moving too fast. I will go back and I'll re-explain whatever you need to be explained. Then for number 3, we are calculating what Gilbert will pay on average per kiloliter of water. The keyword here is per kiloliter of water. Pay per kiloliters of water. So the answer we are expecting to see there should be in rands per kiloliter. That's what our answer should involve. Rands per kiloliter. Then how do we do that? Gilbert will pay 439 rands 89 cents for 32 kiloliters of water. So how do we do the calculations? It's going to be the 439 rands 89 cents divided by 32, which is rands divided by the kiloliters. Then your answer would be 13 rands 75 cents. 13 rands 75 cents per kiloliter. Someone raised their hand. Please allow. I don't know. Is the hand gone now?
End of the session.
Hello?
15 minutes to the end of the session.
Okay. I don't see the raised hand anymore, guys. I'll continue then. Then now let's look at this graph. This graph is a graphic. It's a representation of those rates which we're just working with, the tariffs we're working with just now. It's the same thing. It's just in a graph form right now. In the previous slides, it was in table form. Now it is in a graph. So we need to explain why the graph is a series of horizontal lines. This graph is a series of horizontal lines. You see, series of horizontal lines there. And sudden vertical increases. Why is that? Can someone explain why it's that? Okay, I'll quickly explain. Because the price stays the same. For example, in the very first horizontal line, it indicates that the price stays the same for that category. From 0 kiloliters to 9 kiloliters, the price stays the same. So a horizontal line is drawn between the different categories. So these lines here indicate the different categories we're working with. The dotted vertical lines here show us how the price suddenly increases when we move into the next group of kiloliters. So in the first example, it's 0 to 9 kiloliters. We have our price there. Then there's a sudden increase when you move to the next group, where now in the first group, it was 9 rand 50 in the group. In the second group, the cost is now 11 rands 22. So it just shows you the sudden increase. The same applies as we move on from category to category. The same rules apply. We cannot join the points with a sloping line. A sloping line would be this line. Let me try and show you. That line, it's not straight. I can't draw straight here, but that would be an example of a sloping line. We do not draw, and we cannot join these points with a sloping line because it would suggest that the price per unit rises with each kiloliter. And that's not the case. the price per unit does not rise with each kiloliter. Rather, the price is constant for a given range. So for this range, the first range, the price is constant. For the second range, the price is constant. So for as long as you're spending between 9 to 25 kiloliters, it will only be a cost of 11 rands 22. For as long as you are in the 25 to 30 kiloliters, it will always be a cost of 14 rands 95 per kiloliter. That's how it works. So it's constant for the given range of kiloliters. And therefore the graph is flat. It then increases suddenly for each new category of water usage. So if you are ever asked to draw a graph indicating tariffs in your tests or exams or anywhere, you should know you never draw the line to indicate a slope, but rather you have a series of horizontal line and sudden vertical rises. This is how you draw a graph of tariffs that indicates tariffs. This is how you should always draw it. Ne? Then moving on to the next slide, we'll work on telephone tariffs. And the first one was the water usage. The water usage would be similar to how you'd calculate electricity usages. Now we are working with telephone tariffs. Fixed phone line and cell phone service providers also commonly charge you for calls using tariffs. The tariff cost can be influenced by factors like the distance of the call, e.g. overseas calls are always more expensive than local calls, and the time of day. So the two factors that were indicated here is that the things that affect the call is the distance of the call would affect the price you would pay. So the distance of the call affects the price of the call, and then the time of day. Most providers will be cheaper at night as opposed to during the day. It is also cheaper to call someone locally than it is to call internationally. Then now, this example, Telkom charges for normal national landline calls according to the following tariffs. We have these tariffs indicated to you. What two factors can influence the cost of a landline call based on the information above? So please, this slide, Nomfundo. Is it this slide you wanted? Okay, Honey Tizer, I'm not sure I understand your question. It's based on which one are you referring to, the 45 that you are talking to? 45 kiloliters, which one was that? Can you please allow Honey Tizer to speak so that they can ask their question? Because I don't understand what they type right now. Honey Tizer, can you speak? Honey Tizer, raise your hand so they can see and enable you to speak. Okay, we'll continue when Honey. Oh yeah, she has raised her hand. Honey Tizer has raised the hand.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I was making example. I was how much kiloliters did he use for that 450 something? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Please repeat your question, Ned. You were cutting a bit. I couldn't hear you properly.
Okay, let's say they said he used 450. He used 450 for.
Honey Tizer,
is it for 450?
I still can't hear your question. And it says like
Can you hear
your
me?
network is bad. It keeps like when you speak, we can't hear you.
I was saying that, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah, I
Can you
can
hear me?
hear you. Yes.
Oh, I was saying that if they say that the person used 450 then calculate more than they say calculate how many kiloliters did you use when you use 450 then. You understand?
Or if it's asked the other way around,
Hello,
if
ma'am.
they ask in rands instead of kiloliters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
All
sorry.
right.
So, yeah, if they are
Okay, Henitezo, because I don't have that example worked out here. I'll work it out tomorrow first thing before we start with tomorrow's lesson. I will start with the example like that so that I answer your question. Is that okay with you? I hope it is. Okay, I'm moving on. Henitizer, I hope you understood. Tomorrow I will start with that example that you asked for. I'll look for an example like that and work out according to the question you asked.
5 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Nomfundo, what was your question? Okay, guys, we have 1 minute left. So we'll continue with the tariffs tomorrow. The rest of them, if we get cut, ne? But now, these are the question here is, what two factors can influence the cost of a landline call based on the information above? So we see the information above. We've got distance here. So for local, which is 0 to 50 kilometers, and the long distance, which are for greater than 50 kilometers. And then the basic or the fixed charge in rands, here would be the first one shows the all times, and then the other one is the amount in rands you'd pay depending on the distance. And for lucky for us, in this case, it's 0.570 for both of them. Then the third category is rands per second. This is including VAT. The category here is standard time, Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So these are the rates. The local rate would be 0.00700. And then the long distance rate would be 0.00950. And call more time, which is Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and Friday, 7 p.m. to Monday, 7 a.m. These are the rates. So looking at this information above, what two factors can influence the cost of a landline call based on the information above? If someone wants to answer me, can they type in the answer there? Otherwise, I would do it. The distance of the call affects the cost of the landline call. You can see the rates here, the distance. In this last row there, we are shown that the distance plays a role, the distance. Here we were paying 0.00950, then there we're paying that other value there. The distance of the call and the duration, which is the number of seconds. So these again, rands per second again. So it's the distance and the duration, which is the number of seconds. Second one is Davina calls her mother, who lives 25 kilometers away during standard time. If she talks for 1,000 seconds, what will she pay for the call in rands? What will she pay for the call in rands? The formula you'd use here is cost of the call is equal to the minimum charge or the basic charge plus rands per second multiplied by the number of seconds. Cost of the call is 0.570 plus the highlighted ones. I highlighted them in red for you so you understand what we are working with. Why did I choose the standard time, Monday to Friday? They indicated in the question that the call happens during standard time. And why did I take the values here? Because the mother lives 25 kilometers away, which is a local distance. It's within this 0 to 50 kilometers. That is why we are working with these values. So it's 0.570 plus 0.00700 multiplied by 1,000, which is the number of seconds they spoke for on the call. You work out your calculations. So the cost of the call would be 7 rands 57 cents. The slides, guys, would be provided for you. They'll be uploaded on YouTube and on Facebook. You can also check out the website Africa Teen Geek, and then you'll find more details on how you can access the slides that we work with. Ne? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we'll have those lessons depending on the time. The topic we selected today was because a lot of people had said they struggle with the finance section. So this week we are working on finance sections, and today we started with tariffs. We'll be working on different other finance related questions for the rest of the week. But yes, for those who want the slides, you can access them. Go check Facebook and YouTube, Africa Teen Geeks. For now, I'll end it here because we are running out of time. So this will be our answer, 7 rands and 57. Tomorrow we'll continue from here because we are not done with tariffs. I'll take over from this slide tomorrow, and I'll also do the example Hanitizer asked me to do. For more information or for more questions, guys, you are welcome to use the social media platform or Africa Teen Gigs, or even the email that is provided on Africa Teen Gigs website. You can access those ones. You can ask more questions there, and we'll engage with you even after class sessions. But please don't be afraid to use social media. I'll see your questions and I'll respond to them. Let me quickly move to the very last. I want to rush to the last slide. Here, this is where you can get more information. So you can use these hashtags. If it's questions directly related to Maths Lit, please also include hashtag Maths Lit grade 12 so that I can be able to respond to those questions directly related to Maths Lit. But other than that, go to Africa Teen Gigs. You'll find more information there, and the slides will be posted there. Tomorrow we'll have the rest of the lesson on tariffs. Yeah. G, I'm done now, G. Are you okay, guys? Is this okay with you? G, someone is asking if we can email them the presentation. Please respond to that. And then if you guys still have any questions, please ask. We'll continue the lesson from tariffs tomorrow. Where we ended off today, we'll continue. We'll take it from there tomorrow.